Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 23. So in last episode, we had the rest of the Season 6 simulation, and we also got through the offseason, which was kind of a really good offseason in a sense for us because in terms of the Rule 5 draft, we were able to pick up a pretty solid relief prospect in a sense. Well, he's actually almost like an MLB relief pitcher already. As you can see, this Jack Birch guy, absolutely unreal pick, I think. He's got B potential. I looked in, it's only 81 potential, but that's still pretty good considering he's 74 at 23. And yeah, he's pretty balanced in terms of a lot of his stats. Like, I don't know when this guy got drafted, but I'm really glad we were able to take him in the Rule 5 draft. And yeah, we're very excited for obviously another upcoming season. Hopefully we're better than last year and the years before and whatnot, but hopefully at the same time we could draft some really good prospects and keep building up that pool, because right now I think we have a lot of good prospects in mostly every position. I was looking, and I think the one area that we definitely need to address though going forward is our catching. Obviously, Sixto can't play catcher, but we probably need a good catcher prospect. That's something I'd say is top of our priority list. We also should be looking for more right fielders, because if we look at the moment, you can see here that we only have Bill O'Donnell pretty much, and then nobody else right fielding prospect-wise. We do have a lot of other outfielding prospects, like Groves, for example, and whatnot, that could play right field, but I would prefer to have at least some guys that are like full-on right fielders. So we'll probably end up looking for some right fielders in this upcoming draft as well, and hopefully finding some of those to help build our prospect pool even more so. But I think we're definitely trending in the right direction, and I'm very excited to see what's in this upcoming draft and how these younger guys are on our team are end up doing. For example, like how Garth Howe is going to do this year, because last year he took a big leap forward, I would say, in terms of like ERA, WHIP, and also like quality starts. Somebody mentioned that quality starts is an important thing to look for. So as you can see, he had 19 quality starts, and he pitched a total, he started 33 games. So more than half of his games were quality games. So that's really good to see. And yeah, obviously he's the ace of the future. He's up to an 86 at 23 and one of our best players on our roster. So excited to see what he does this year, as well as a lot of other guys. Like, is Gary going to take a step up this year? That type of thing. So anyways, before we get into scouting out this year's draft and getting through a little bit of the season, I do have quite a few comments to go over. So the first couple are from Nick Bacher Barons OC. The first one says, I would try to see what a 10-year deal looks like for Sixto. Would look like if you could get him for less than 20 million a year. 10 years, I would do that. So he wants to see if we could lock up Sixto for 10 years, and I was actually talking to him a little bit about this, and it seems like basically if we wanted to do a front-loaded paying structure, which I think is probably the best bet, we'd probably be having to pay him 250 million for those 10 years, which I think is not that bad, because 25 million a season really isn't that bad for like a superstar type player, I'm pretty sure, because at least in my offline franchise, I had to pay a guy like 30-something million instead. So to get a guy like Sixto for 25 million a year, and obviously it starts out on very high, but then it starts to go down as he gets older. I think that's a great way to do it, is have it front loaded, and then once he's getting older, it'll be a little bit cheaper for us. So I think I am actually going to go ahead and do that. So let me first go to 1 year here and make this down to the highest amount possible, and then we'll go over to the 10-year deal. But yeah, I want him locked up. He's definitely going to be a really good player at his peak. Like, if we get him for 25 million a season, that's 10 million under the max right now. So I think that's probably a good deal for us to take. So we'll go to 10 years, and we'll knock this down by $100 million. I wish there was a faster way of doing this. Like, is there no way to enter in a manual amount of money in this game as well? Because if there is, I would like to know about it, because obviously it would speed up the process a bit, because I hate how games like, at least like NHL and stuff like that, for example, you have to actually like sit here and scroll for quite some time before you actually get to the amount. So we're going to try and get him for 10 years at 250 million, and then see if we could, if we have him locked up for 10 years, he'll be here till he's 32 at least, and then hopefully afterwards we could get him on cheaper deals and stuff like that for however longer he plays in the MLB. But I think he's an important piece to have on this team for a long time. It might actually cost us a little bit more than 250, because 250 is about like a 75% interest, it's looking like. So we'll see if he accepts this. If he doesn't, obviously I'll talk it up to like 255, something like that. I'm okay with spending a decent amount of money on him. So let's see if he'll accept 10 years at $250 million. And I cannot afford this contract at this time. Why can't I not afford it? That's interesting. Maybe we don't have the budget and stuff like that. Yeah, that's weird. I don't have the budget to do that. Maybe I'll wait then. I don't know. How much years does he have left before he's a free agent? He's got 3 ARB years still left, so maybe I will... Yeah, maybe I'll just do the 2 for now, and then after these 2, then I will think about giving him a big contract. Because we need to make sure we have, obviously, the budget to offer these guys. Like, the max offer I could offer a guy, I think, is like 18, it looks like. So, yeah, that's not great. So, yeah, let's just do the 2, and we'll give it a little bit less, because obviously we want to try and be as cap-friendly as possible. Let's do 6.2 for 2 years. There you go. And also, there was a comment, I want to get to this one first, that's not from Nick, but from Dylan. He says, also signed Zach Birch. Looks like a gem long-term investment. And I do have a good offer, I think, for Jack Birch here, which I think would work really well, which is 5 years at $11 million, I think it was, if I remember right. I did write it down, but yeah, 5 years at $11 million. So basically, we're paying him an average of $2.2 million a year. And for the type of relief pitcher he's going to be for us, I think that's definitely a good contract. So, yeah, let's give him that. And he's not interested in being longed up for a long-term contract. What if I gave you a little bit more money? Would you accept $12 million for 5 years? There you go. Now he's accepted. Okay. See, that's a good deal still, regardless, I think. Because we don't have a lot of good relievers, so it's good to have at least one kind of locked up for a good amount of time. But the rest of these players we're not going to worry about yet. But soon enough, we're going to have to be giving some really big contracts out for like Sixto, Cardenas, Howe, etc. The next comment from Nick says, I would start Pip in the MLB next year or the year after. Neither is wrong. Same with Trevino. So, yeah, basically I already went ahead and I added Pip in Trevino to our 40-man roster. More than likely, these guys will be on our MLB team to start the season because, like, you look, and Trevino's definitely the best second baseman by far on this team and all leagues. And then if we also look at Pip would probably, him or Schneider would probably end up being a DH on this team, I'm guessing, as they both play third base. But it's definitely a chance for Pip to play in the MLB this year. So there's that. And then the final comment from Nick says, Mendoza line is batting like 200 and is named after a shortstop who was trash at hitting. The average hitter in the MLB now hits around 240. So anybody on our team that hits below 240, that's a little bit below average. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. Obviously, hopefully we don't have a lot of guys that are below the Mendoza line. No, I don't think that ever is going to happen, but you never know. And then we get into the 2 comments from Dylan that I didn't get to yet. The first one says, also, Steve with the 2020 season is incredible. I think it's also worth ups to his power versus lefties by about 3 to 5 due to the fact he banged so many. Just my opinion. So he's saying basically to up stuff with Steve Schneider against his power against lefties. I don't know about that. I mean, it's a 61. It's pretty good, but I think he will develop that because I think I'm trying to develop him into more of a power hitter, so we'll probably leave it. But with him mentioning the 2020 season, that means basically he had 20 home runs, and I think, yeah, it was 20-plus doubles. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he means by that because when I looked up 2020, it came up with a 20-20-20. Which also has you having like 20 triples or something like that, I think. So who knows, maybe someday he'll get that much, but I don't know if he's going to be much of a triple getter. And then the last comment from Dylan says, when looking at pitchers in the minors, check their quality starts. These will be great stats rather than wins and losses due to the lack of talent on the team. And that's where I was just mentioning it in the earlier part of this episode, the quality starts with Garth Howe. Because, yeah, basically the quality starts is more important than the win-to-loss ratio at this rate. So that way we know how good of a player has been. So, if, for example, like Gary McAllister, who we said was struggling, he only won 6 games that season. But if we look at his quality starts, you could see... Where is his quality starts? Goddamn, I have to remember where everything is in the screen. His quality starts were 14, so he had 14 quality starts in 33 games. So just a little under half of his games were quality starts, so that's not really that bad when looking at it on paper. So, yeah, that's that. And yeah, let's get into scouting out this draft. It's been already a little bit of a long start to this episode. But yeah, we definitely need to start scouting out the upcoming draft and making sure we have our team set up the way we want to. So let me go ahead here and already make one change because I know it's going to do it. Yeah, William Montero needs to be optioned back down to AAA, or at least sent back down. Just because, yeah, he's definitely not ready yet. He's a 64, 23. He's got A potential, but I am going to move him back to AAA for now. We also should move up, I guess, some players from AA to triple. So I will probably move up. I'll just move up like the worst type of players for now, because I don't want to move all my top prospects up to triple just yet. Let's go U to triple. There you go. That gets rid of that red part. And then we'll move. Let's move Michael Chu to double already. Might as well, since he's been in single for a few years. So there we go. That should hopefully set that up properly. Let's just make sure our lineup and pitching rotation is set up properly as well. So Trevino is the leadoff man. I'm okay with that. Excited to see what this kid could do. We have him, Cardenas, Sixto, Pip. Schneider is the DH this year, which I do like because he is a great power getter. O'Donnell, we have Hernandez, and the two Gelmans. So basically our starting lineup is mostly everybody that we've drafted. So that's actually really cool to see. The only ones that we didn't draft, obviously, Hernandez we got in the Rule 5 draft quite a few years ago. I think maybe in the first year. And Ben Gelman we never drafted. So looking good for at least having a full-on lineup. Let's go to the pitching rotation, see what that's looking like. Starting pitcher-wise, we need to put in Chen, because Chen is a starter. There was some of our relief pitchers that I literally just drafted that I could already use in the MLB, but I'm not going to do that yet because I would rather not. Who's got the best stamina out of these relievers? It's going to be Castillo. Actually, Jack Birch should not be a setup guy. He should be a long reliever. Yeah, I think. Yeah, he's got 40 stamina. So we'll use Jack Birch as our long reliever. These three as mid relievers. One setup guy, and that's Parsons. And then Lake is the closer. And we'll leave the rest of the stuff like double and triple A. I already did set up the train in as well in before last episode, or this episode started. Goddamn, I can't talk. So everything should be set up and ready to go for us. So let's advance a few days. So we got our first series with the White Sox. And then we'll do some general scouting for the first 5 weeks, which we're more than likely going to look at starting pitcher, or not starting pitchers, what am I saying? Catchers and right fielders. I think that's definitely where we need to target. So, okay, let's take a look and see first at what this draft is looking like, what there is the best out of. Like, I was going to actually write down the how much players in the first round are supposed to be for each position. I think I'm going to still do that because it would make more sense. So I am going to grab myself a pen and a paper here and write down how much players of each position are supposed to go in the first round. That way, we know if there's like say 15 starting pitchers in the first round, we know that maybe it's a pitching heavy draft, that type of thing. So let's start off by looking here at starting pitchers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Looking like 13, at least to me. So 13 starting pitchers. Let's go to relievers now. Probably not a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 relievers. Then we'll look at closers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 closers, so not a lot of closers in this draft. It's looking like catcher-wise, we only got 1 catcher supposed to go in the first round. So hopefully that guy is really good because we do need a catcher. So I probably will scout that guy out. But it does not look like a really friendly catcher draft. It might be. There might be some random late steals. You never know. That's the only thing about doing it this way. First baseman-wise, there's only 1 first baseman supposed to go in round 1 based on this. There's not supposed to be a single second baseman, which is interesting, but some of these guys might be actually really good. Third baseman-wise, there's not supposed to be any either. Shortstop-wise, there's not supposed to be another one either. Right fielding-wise, or left fielding, actually, we'll start off with, I guess, 1, 2, only 2 left fielders. So write that down. Center fielders, there's supposed to be 1, 2 as well. And then right fielding-wise, we're looking at 1 only. And that one is looking insane. Okay, this right fielder might be a one of those players that ends up being like a really franchise player. We do need a right fielder. Right now we have the 7th overall pick, but I don't know if the draft lottery's happened yet. But I definitely need to scout out that Eric Adeline guy. We are going to just do some general scouting now first in catchers and right fielders because that's what we need. But then we're going to go individually and scout individual players after that just to make it a little bit easier for us. So let's go scout positions. So this guy is more of a pitcher, prospect, scouter. So maybe he'll actually not be assigned to any of these things. Oh yeah, we were going to look for scouts with more efficiency, potentially. These guys are really good with positional players, so we'll keep them on that. Let's go scout position on each of these guys. So let's start off with the catcher prospects for this guy. He's going to do West for a week. And basically they're going to change every week on what they're actually scouting. And then this guy's going to scout out right fielders. And he's also going to start off in the West. So yeah, I'll have that. And then this guy's going to scout individual pitchers, I guess, just because he's a pitching scout. Let's go back to all players, and we'll get him to scout out this Tommy Gonzalez guy. Just because might as well use him for pitchers and all that type of thing. So, okay, let's continue to advance a week, and then we'll change up our scouting a little bit. Let's go autofix on that. Yeah. Okay, not a bad start to the season, 3-6. You love to see it. Let's go to scouting, see if that guy's fully scouted yet. No, he's not, but he's looking solid. He might be more of a project player, I don't know. Let's change the scouting assignment on catcher to central, and we will change this over to central as well. Hopefully we can find out who's the best catcher in this draft, because I definitely think catcher's is a place where we need to work on. Like I said, we could end up using Sixto in that spot, but I would rather look for a guy that's actually got catcher as his primary position, potentially. This guy's not looking too good, so maybe the starting pitchers aren't really that good in this draft. Let's go to Acevedo. He's supposed to go pretty high up. And we got to actually address these other scouts too. I always forget about this stuff. East. Hopefully we find the best players possible. I think we'll only do general scouting for 4 weeks in this season, just because I do have specific guys I want to target for sure. Josh Groves has been injured. That kind of sucks, but it's only for 1 to 2 weeks. Auto on that. And let's see what we're working with this guy. This guy's looking good so far. We'll see if he ends up being that good. We'll change this over to international, which is usually where there's always a good prospect pool. See if we could find some good players in the international area. And then we'll do some general scouting. Bobby Hyde has been injured with a blister. It sounds like such a obviously it's a painful injury for like a pitcher to have, but it's funny when you see a guy have a blister, and obviously there's other players getting like torn MCLs and stuff. So yeah, this guy's looking great. He's looking great in terms of potential. Is he good in terms of overall? We don't know that yet, so I'll get him still scouted out a little bit longer. But now we have our catching scout and reliever scout back from their general scouting. Let's scout out some catchers and some right fielders. So this guy should probably scout out... A lot of these guys are not really even much scouted at all. Trying to look and see if we have any good steals potentially here that have been scouted out a decent amount. Not really. Let's get Griggs scouted out though still, because he's projected still to be the best catcher in the draft, so we'll definitely scout him out, see if he's actually that good. And we will have this guy, Kurt Garcia, attached to that right fielder we were looking at earlier, who's looking insane. Yeah, Eric Adeline might be the type of player I really want to go for. He would complete our outfield so well. Like, imagine him and Sixto in the outfield. Like, this guy, he looks like he might not be a 99 potential player, but he might have, like, a really high potential and a really high overall, and he's only 19. So I'm really hoping that he's actually that good. So hopefully that is the case. We still got a while before the draft, so we got a lot of time to scout out some general players. Brian Morris has been injured again, but at least it's not too long-term like his injury last year, because last year he missed a lot of time. And now Pablo Silva's been injured. The amount of prospects that get injured every year is kind of frustrating, but it is what it is. So Acevedo is looking great. Yeah, he's looking great. Our scouts have him at number 1 right now. We'll keep on scouting out some pitchers too with this guy as well, because this guy could only really do pitchers. Might as well scout out the closer, even though we don't really need to. He might have a high overall, so. Adeline's not actually as good as I thought, but he might have a really high overall. Like, he's gonna be a B potential player, it's looking like, but he's gonna be between a 70 and an 82 overall, which is really nice. So I do like Adeline, but I am kind of mad that he's not as good as he was looking at first, because that would have been a really great to have like a franchise type of right fielder for this team. But we could scout out, I guess, like left fielders and stuff too. I should probably scout out this first baseman just because he might have a high overall. So you know what, we're going to scout him out as well. It's kind of just like more of a general scout at these type of guys. This might be a little bit of a long episode just because of the scouting, but oh well. I don't really care if it's a long episode, because these are the type of episodes I really like, is when you get to find out about the upcoming draft and whatnot. Todd Goss has been injured. Let's go auto on that, and he's now back already. That's good. So far, 10-29. It's probably one of our better starts, I would say, to the season. Joe Robbins is still looking really good. He looks like he could be a really high potential and a really high overall. Hopefully that stays. The rest of these guys not fully scouted yet. Well, all of them are not fully scouted. We only have 12 million of budget allotment money, which means obviously the first round pick, if we draft one of those guys that are projected to go super high, that's going to take most of the money that we're going to have to spend on our rookies. So we got to be a little bit careful with that. 12-33, not great. But as long as our prospects are playing good. Yeah, Robbins is okay. He's going to have a good overall, I think, but he's gonna be maybe, he could even be like a C potential guy or of a D potential, but hopefully he's better than that. Not that I would probably draft him yet anyways. Let's get out this left fielder, because might as well, because we could always use a left fielder in right field if we need to instead. It's probably just good in general to scout out some outfielders. I should also scout out some more catchers just to see if there's anything better catcher wise out there, because we need to find ourselves something, I'd say, probably for there, because William Halpern's our only prospect that's a catcher, and he's a long ways away. So let's take Griggs out. Griggs is looking okay. I don't know if he's going to be an insane catcher, but he might be like an 86 potential, which is decent. Let's look at some other catchers as well. Like this Todd Davies. He's probably a project player, though, more than likely. But you never know. You never know. Let's see if there's anybody maybe with a high overall to start, because a high overall to start would be great. We could also scout out Brad Thornton. Might as well scout out him since he's supposed to go like second round or whatever. How much days do we have before the draft now? 41 days. But yeah, these are probably my favorite episodes, these ones that scout out the prospects, and the draft is also my favorite obviously too, but it could be pretty bad at times if you don't draft well. Bill O'Donnell's been injured. That's not great, but at least it's only a day or two. And we do win a couple games without him in the lineup. So we're now 15-43. Kenny Silva's looking pretty good. But he might be a really low overall for a 21-year-old as well. That's the only problem. Our scouts have him at 18 now. And then the closer is not as good as we were thinking. So yeah, this might not be a good draft for pitchers, which is okay because last year's draft was really good for them. So let's change you. Let's see if we could find like a pattern in this. We should probably also scout out more relievers too, but I don't know. Let's get this Sunny guy scouted out a little bit more. We got 4 weeks before the draft. So we'll still scout up until the week before that, I guess, or the week of almost. 17-46. We'll also take a look at our player stats, of course, because I am curious on how our younger guys like Trevino are doing. Like, I didn't really want to rush them fully into the lineup, but I think they're going to be pretty solid here in the MLB, as Jeff Pipp has now been injured for a few days, so that's not great. Speaking of guys that we put on the 40-man roster in this episode. McGinnis is solid too, but I don't really know. This might be a weak draft class because I'm not finding really an A potential guy yet. So Hopefully there is somebody that we're just not seeing that we might randomly take a chance on. We should probably scout out this reliever. Yeah, we probably should. Who's the one that's doing this scouting? Let's see. Oh, it is Kurt Garcia. Okay, good. This guy's good at pitchers too, so I had to make sure it's one that's actually good with pitchers. But yeah, let's scout out. Who was it? Who was it that might have a really high overall? Was it Norman Pena that I was saying about? It's either Norman Pena or Richie Hobson. Yeah, let's scout out these two guys as well. Norman Pena, or actually, yeah, it was him in Park that we could scout out a little bit more. Because we do need relievers, so might as well scout out some relievers too, because we definitely need to find ourselves some good relievers other than just Jack Birch, who we picked up in the Rule 5. Oh, that was a pretty good week. 4-2 in that week. We're now 21-54. We're definitely still the worst team in our division, but that's okay. Thornton is looking okay as well, but it doesn't look like a really good draft for catchers. But I'm still going to try and see if I could find somebody that's pretty good. Let's just look at the 99 potential guys. This guy might be a project player, but let's scout out Todd Davies. I want to find out a good catcher. We are a week before the draft almost already. Goddamn. So this is our last week of scouting, and we'll take a look at what we found in those weeks. Hopefully we found a decent amount about this draft class, because I obviously want your guys' opinion on the upcoming draft as well. So we do still got one more week to scout out, so you guys could let me know who we should be scouting out. But let's take a look at what we have scouted out to this point. Actually, let's keep Todd Davies there, because he's looking solid so far. Okay, guys, so for some reason my Elgato froze at this point in the video, so I will show you guys now in a another recording, basically, the players that we scouted out, so you guys could kind of give me some feedback for who we think we should be drafting. So we have the 7th overall pick, so I'm hoping that some of these guys fall, but right now Acevedo looks like he's going to be the best player in this draft in terms of pitching, at least to our scouts. But I think we definitely should be looking towards Eric Adling if he does fall to us, obviously, because we do need right fielders, and based on this guy's future stats, it looks like he's going to be an above average player, because you can see there's a lot of blue potential things in his repertoire. There's a lot of green too. There's a couple of yellows, but other than that, it looks like he's going to be an above average player. So I am thinking he's definitely going to be our pick, but I really hope he falls to number 7. There's a lot of other guys too, like Gomez, that we fully scouted out. Let me actually go to team rank just to make this a little bit easier. So there's Gomez. I believe there was some other guys as well that we fully scouted. Silva's going to be maybe solid, but the only problem with him is that he might be a 58 and 21, and obviously if he's a 70 at 21, that's going to be fantastic, but if he's a 58 at 21, it's not so much. Also, he doesn't have a lot of interest in being here, so probably wouldn't take Silva unless we absolutely have to, is we could obviously get that interest higher, but still it would be better to take a guy with good interest. So somebody like Cesar Cabrera would be okay, I guess, but he's not going to be an insane closer. But we already have actually some good closers too, so it's like I don't really know if I would draft him. There's also Joe Robbins, who's going to be probably a high overall and potentially a good potential too. He is 18 as well, so I think Joe Robbins, if he's one of those guys that are still left on the table at our pick, maybe we would take him if for some reason that right fielder goes a lot earlier, which I think he honestly might. I hope he doesn't, though. Hopefully the AI's dumb and makes some bold decisions, or maybe they found some other really good players that we don't know about. Dave Griggs is another player that I'm potentially looking at maybe as like a 2nd round pick. We do actually have 2 1st round picks technically this year, 7 and 38, so we could take this guy potentially as well. We do need more catching prospects, and this guy might have like a B ceiling, which would be okay. So I think that might be an okay pick. And I think that was almost it for fully scouted. Gonzalez is an okay player, but he's definitely not the 1st overall pick worthy. And obviously that bonus demand is super high, so I don't think I would take him. There's also Brad Thornton, who might be solid if we want to just keep on adding more catchers into the system, so we could see which one develops the best. There's also Norman Pena if we want to go for some relief pitchers in later rounds. I think we're going to have an okay draft. It's just about if we scouted out the best player in the draft, because who knows, maybe there's a 99 potential guy that has a high overall as well that we just did not scout it out. So I really hope we found the right player. But I think that right fielder is definitely who I have my eyes on. And yeah, I really hope that he falls to us. If he doesn't fall to us, that would be kind of sad. But I guess if there's still that pitcher, that would be good too. But Eric Adeline, at least he has like the interest as well. It's decent enough. Like we could get that interest easily above 50%, scouting him out for like more weeks and stuff like that to when we're in the contract negotiation portion. He is going to take up a big chunk of our bonus demand. That's the only problem. So the players that we draft in later rounds hopefully are cheaper options. But yeah, he's I think he's definitely going to be our choice if we get the chance. So there is that. Also, let me know who you guys want me to put here for the other priority options, and we'll scout them out for the last week of scouting. Also, I have Todd Davies getting scouted out right now. Hopefully, we find out a good chunk about him by the draft, because he might be a good catcher prospect to draft in a later round. So there is that. Final thing I also wanted to show you guys are prospects and how everybody's doing currently in the MLB. So let's start off with our AA players. So Bobby Hyde hasn't been great so far, but I don't know. Does it have quality starts in double and triple? Yeah, it does. He has 4 quality starts out of his 17 game or his 11 games he started, so it's not that bad. Obviously, he's a little bit of a ways away still from getting up to triple and to the MLB. Ray McMahon so far has been really good in double. Who else have we drafted? There's a lot of different players. Rangel has been not too great, it looks like. Quality start wise, he has 1 quality start. Yeah, he hasn't been good, but hopefully he improves. Sparbori looks like he's been pretty good. He started 15 games. He's had 10 quality starts. Yeah, he's been good, but he is injured currently, so that kind of sucks. Pablo Silva, up to a 60 at 20. That's pretty good. He's turning out to be maybe a really good potential guy for us down the road. 4 quality starts, and he's pitched 12 games, so 1 every 3 games. Not terrible, I guess. Ron Francisco looks kind of bad. Let's see. He has not started any games, so he's being more used as a relief pitcher at the moment. But that's okay, because he's not a high ceiling player. Darren Pons so far has been really good as a reliever. He's pitched 20 innings, and he's got a .9 ERA and a 1 whip. So that's good to see. Maybe a future reliever for our MLB team. Michael Chu so far hasn't been phenomenal, but obviously he's got the good potential. So I'm hoping that he jumps up quite a bit, because he was in single A for multiple years, but I decided to finally give him a chance. Murillo has been pretty solid, looks like, as well. He's also got B potential. He has not been starting games, though, apparently. Anything else to take a look at? Gallegos isn't a prospect. William Halpern, You see, he's our only catching prospect at the moment. That's why I want to add more catchers to this team. Seguera has been okay. But, yeah, this is double. We go to triple. Ken Roberts been really good. He's probably MLB bound soon, I would say. He's a pretty solid reliever. He'd be a good setup guy probably for us. Darren Poles has been also pretty good too. He's up to a 70 at 18. So there is Darren Poles. Has he actually been starting games? Yeah, he has been. 15 games that he started, 8 quality starts, so more than half of his games. I like to see that. Guzman's been okay as well as a setup guy, I think. Pinheiro has been okay. Not the best batting average wise, but he is getting better. Gary Steiner's been phenomenal so far. 312 average is great. Yeah, he's been awesome. Fletcher Hoffman even is getting much better too. He only has C potential, and we've drafted him so many years ago at this point. But a 280 average in AAA is no slouch. He is doing good there. I don't know if he'll ever get to the MLB level. He might get to like a kind of a depth role, but good to see him doing well in triple. Brian Morris hasn't been great, it looks like. 15 games started, 8 quality starts actually, so that's not bad. But yeah, obviously last year he missed a lot of time due to injuries, so that might be a bit of a problem. Montero, let's see how he's been. He's potential dropped to a B. That sucks. I didn't realize that. 65 overall, B potential now. Yeah, he hasn't been great. It kind of makes sense though, because he's 23 now and he hasn't got to even a 70 overall yet, so that kind of sucks, but oh well. We'll draft more starting pitcher prospects down the next few years and whatnot. Kenny Olinger, 7 games started, 3 quality starts. Not bad. We have Josh Groves, who's been really good in triples so far, batting a 307. Hopefully he continues to do that good. Kellenberger, who's a D potential guy, jumped up to C potential. Let's go. Okay. So that's actually great to see. I don't think I've seen that yet, where we've had a prospect jump in potential. But we drafted Kellenberger at a D potential, but now he's jumped up to a C potential 59. And he's having a solid year so far in triples. So who knows? Maybe this guy actually comes to the MLB at some stage, but it might be still a long ways away. But I like that. I do like that he's growing. Okay, so that's that. And then MLB-wise, so far Garth Howe has been pretty damn good. Good ERA, good whip. His win-loss ratio obviously does not matter, but he's played 17 games and 11 quality starts. So he's started most of the games off to a good one. So that's good. Sixto has been okay so far. 245 average. Hopefully he continues to improve. I don't know why some of these guys have not been doing well, like you'll see in a little bit. Dennis Lake has been pretty good. What else you got here? Pip has been a little bit undisciplined at the plate. That's the thing that's with him and guys like Gary McAllister, or not Gary McAllister, Steve Schneider, my bad. Their batting average is usually pretty low, but they could pick up home runs and RBIs because they're just not really that disciplined when it comes to batting, but they do hit stuff. Cardenas has off to a really bad start, I'd say, for him. Well, I don't know if I'd say it's a really bad start, but his average has dropped off a lot. We know that last year he started off the season off to a bad start as well. So he probably will turn it around, but it's a little bit concerning that he doesn't get off to a good start usually. Gary McAllister has also been really bad so far this year, so I am concerned about that. He has dropped also in overall. That ERA is really high. That whip is really high. He's had 5 quality starts, and he started 16 games. So 1 every 5 games is a good game, and that's not good enough. Trevino so far has been really good, though. He might be up there for Rookie of the Year, batting at 276. Jack Birch so far is a reliever, not very great, but hopefully he improves since we gave him a long-term deal. Steve Schneider as well, his batting average has been terrible, but he's got home runs and RBIs, so I think once again it's just lack of discipline at the plate, so hopefully that continues to improve. What else we got here? Todd Goss was already put in the MLB for some reason. I think it's because the game automatically added him to our 40-man roster when I pressed auto fix stuff. But anyways, he's got a pretty good ERA, or not pretty good ERA, a terrible ERA and a terrible whip. However, let's see. Has he been okay? I'd say he's been okay, but not bad, like not really that good either. But he is young, so he's gonna probably improve over time. But it's good to see him still getting some MLB time already. Ollie Gellman's also not been doing too well. Bill O'Donnell, like a lot of the guys that we drafted earlier in this franchise mode, like in the first year, have been kind of struggling when it comes to that point. But there is that. Let me actually quickly also look at award leaders just to see who's up there. See if we got anybody up there for potential awards. Yeah, so far Trevino and Pip are both up there for potentially a chance at Rookie of the Year. They're just behind Luis Brito, who is 27 years old, so I don't know why he's considered a rookie, but oh well. Because it would be nice to win another Rookie of the Year, considering we've had 2 Rookie of the Years in the last 3. Anybody else currently up there in terms of the award race? Right now, Cardenas is up there for Golden Glove for first base, so that's good to see. Not a surprise, though. Sixto is up there for Gold Glove for left fielders. Okay, so some progress, looks like. So there is that. Also, I want to quickly check if anybody's up there league leading wise for us in any category. Just to give a little bit more depth to this episode, so 14 stolen bases for Ollie Gellman has him in 6th place. That's pretty solid. Well, we know that he's a fast guy on the base paths, usually. Let's see. That was an important player, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, there's not really anybody up there, but that's okay. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Vancouver Rain Draft Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will take it to the draft. And yeah, hopefully we find ourselves a good player to start building up that prospect pool. But I think everything is coming together on this team in a way. Obviously, it sucks with some guys dropping overalls and potential-wise, but I think we're still on the right paths to being a pretty good team. I don't know when I would say, maybe in the next 5 years still. It's going to take some time, obviously, to develop some of these guys, but it is looking decent, I'd say. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.